Hello guys, and welcome. It is ThatSrb2DUDE here today, bring you yet another Splatoon 2 video as Mr Nogami-san has dropped a bomb on us that we knew that was on the horizon, and recently, since the Splatoon NA Championships Finals has just climaxed. Congratulations, by the way, to FT-Win for winning that. It seems like it is now time for a new update and some news on what we can expect coming from Sheldon's picks. Now, it seems from Sheldon's picks that we're going to get 12 new weapons coming into the game, and additionally, we're going to get 2 new types of weapons that we didn't already know of. This would include the clear Dapple Dualies and the Tenta Camo Brella. Gotta say, first of all, that they both look sick. Also, by the way, if you guys noticed from my voice, I am sick. I just did a 24-hour stream and I was sick going into it, and I've pretty much messed up my voice. But let's get into this video. Now, from this announcement, we now know the kits that all of these types of weapons are going to have. So in this video, I'm going to be going through my personal opinions of what I think of each one of them and what ones we might see make a stand coming into Splatoon 2. So starting off on this page, we have the Fresh Squiffer, we got the Permanent Ink Brush, the Soda Slosher, and the Bamboo MK3. Now, the Fresh Squiffer is coming out with Suction Bomb and Inkjet. It's a really interesting, I guess, combination, and honestly, I don't really feel like this particular weapon's gonna see much play. It kind of reminds me a little bit about the, I guess, the Goo Tuber that we currently have that already has, I think, has Curling Bomb and Inkjet as well, and in its own right, that weapon honestly isn't too strong and doesn't really do too much anyway. I mean, it definitely could be a really fun weapon to use in your solo queues or anything like that, but in terms of like competitive, I'm not too sure if it's going to be one of the greatest things, you know. The Permanent Ink Brush, however, honestly, I think this is going to be something that we might have to look out for. I'm just saying, considering right now in this current meta, like our 2 main armor weapons are still the Kensa Undercover Brella and the, I feel like 96, since it's kind of like, I guess, a new thing since the Sprinkler buff. And considering the Permanent Ink Brush has Sprinkler and armor, it just makes another option, and especially a closer range option, that can produce a bunch of paint and move extremely fast around the map. And a lot of competitive players now these days are actually making the Ink Brush in general, they're pushing it into the competitive scene and showing that, hey, it is quite strong as a Slayer if you're using it right. So having the addition of armor at the same time is definitely a really interesting, I guess, an interesting thing to have with it too. The Soda Slosher, I'm kind of skeptical of it. Honestly, I think Burst Bomb Rush as a special is actually really strong. I mean, of course, it has only been on one weapon before, which was the Bamboo, and not really too many people used it before. But honestly, I think the special's super strong. Like, I feel like people are going to experiment with it, and probably they'll figure out that, hey, you know, having a bunch of Burst Bombs like this can actually do some damage, especially the type of game how Splatoon 2 is too. So I won't be surprised if we see a little bit of play with it. I mean, it's definitely very bomb heavy, and that's going to definitely help with, I guess, throwing lethal options from afar for the Slosher, or just further away in general. So, you know, I think this, I mean, having the Splat Bomb and Burst Bomb Rush is really, really nice for it. And I mean, of course, there's probably other better options with it. Like, I think armor would have been better, but of course, we don't have, I think it'll be too strong at that point, so. And next, we got the Bamboozler MK3. This weapon in particular, like, I feel like it probably would have got, it could have gotten a better sub weapon, maybe Burst Bomb instead. But again, it might have been a thing where it would literally be too strong. Like, it would just be a thing where you just have to, I guess, get radius hit damage with your Burst Bomb, and then you just have to shoot your opponent once, and then that would actually lead into getting into a kill. I think Bubble is actually really helpful for it, since the Bamboozler is actually a long-range weapon. I honestly feel like it's going to be one of those weapons that's going to be able to pop bubbles extremely fast, faster than, I guess, the majority of weapons, since the amount of bamboo, or the amount of damage the Bamboozler can output in a matter of seconds, considering how fast its charges is. So, you know, I definitely feel like it's going to be one of those weapons that can really shred and make bubbles pop really fast. And maybe the Fizzy Bomb could be just a thing just to help it ink a little bit better, since, you know, the Fizzy Bomb is probably one of the best types of sub-weapons in getting a bunch of ink on the floor fast for a little bit of costs, or just, you know, minimal cost as well. It's kind of like on par with how Sprinkler is, but a little bit more lethal in that sense. Moving on to the next page, we have 4 other weapons: the Grim Range Blaster, the NZAP87, the Aerospray PG, and the Sploosh 7. Now, these weapons, gotta first say, the Grim Range Blaster is probably gonna be how it was back in Splatoon 1. A lot of people are gonna try and implement that same combo before, where they get the first one direct and then they go for the indirect shot with the range blaster. Obviously, that combo is very, very strong because it's a thing where you can literally basically take out people in a matter of less than split seconds in that case. So this weapon is going to be strong, and having the addition of Tenta missiles also, it's going to be more of a really annoyance to, I guess, most players. Mainly because, of course, again, you shooting out Tenta missiles is going to, I guess, produce splash damage and however much damage to certain players. So a Grim Range, I guess a Range Blaster in general, can really take advantage of that. As, you know, as damage is being dealt with the Tenta missiles, the Range Blaster comes in with its, I guess, its AoE shot, and it just takes out somebody just because they had weakened them with the Tenta missiles. So the combination of these two, I think this is going to be a really good weapon, and it's going to be one of those weapons that we're going to have to look out for in the current meta. NZAP, honestly, the NZAP87, it looks very, very interesting, and seems like it's going to be one of those more close range paint heavy weapons, considering you get, of course, the Sprinkler, and we already know how strong Sprinkler is at this point in time. Definitely going to be something that we're going to have to watch out for, and if it's going to be, I think it's going to be a really good cloud option for close range weapons. A lot of people beforehand used to use the, I believe it was the Dapple Dualies Nouveau that had Toxic Mist and Cloud. Now, putting this thing into the mix, I honestly feel like a lot more people might opt into using this instead, just because it probably produce ink. I just feel like it's going to be a thing that's going to be a lot more mobile. People can throw the Sprinkler wherever they want, and they can just use the weapon to ink as well. So it's just going to be very, very paint heavy, I think. The Aerospray PG, honestly, I'm not too sure about this weapon. I don't feel like it's going to see that much play. Like, the Aerospray, as weak as the weapon is, it's literally the weakest weapon in the game. 5-shot kill, I mean, come on now. Very, very indirect RNG when it comes to trying to shoot with this weapon, so it's going to be very, very hard if it's going to be hard to see if actually somebody uses this and brings it to its potential. I mean, Booyah Bomb, of course, we know it's strong, but in the hands of an Aerospray, I mean, who knows really? Like, I feel like the thing that people were just going to use over the Aerospray is just continue to use the Splash Up Pro, because that, I mean, honestly, the Kensa Splash Up Pro is probably one of the best weapons for Booyah Bomb, so I can't see a lot of play being used out of this weapon in particular. The Sploosh 7, though, has Bomb and Hammer. Now, Hammer is something that's, I guess, is a really strong special in the correct hands, and honestly, I feel like this could be pretty decent. I mean, the Sploosh 7 is definitely great for slaying at very up close ranges, and its RNG is not as bad as I guess other weapons, especially if you know how to like use it well. Like, if you didn't know, if you shoot lower towards the opponent's feet, the RNG is pretty much perfect using the Sploosh, and it does slay quite quickly in those situations. So I feel like having Hammer to it too, I mean, it's just going to increase its mobility in getting to places. So I think this might be something that we might see a little bit more in solo. Like, I can't really see it being used too much in like things like competitive, because I feel like it's just gonna be a thing where people will just outrange it so much, unless like you focused on using the hammer alone. But other than that, that's just my thoughts on what I think about the Sploosh. And on the last page, we have the Remix Heavy Splatling, the Cherry H3 Nozzle Node, the Tenta Camo Brella, and the Clear Dapple Dualies. Now, starting with the Remix Heavy Splatling, it has Point Sensor and Booyah Bomb, honestly, I can't really see this. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate how what this weapon really has as a kit. I mean, I can't really see it being used too much, considering, of course, Booyah Bomb is always, of course, strong, but point sensor on a heavy Splatling, I'm not too sure. Like, I feel like if you want point sensors, it's a lot better to have on like a different type of mid-range weapon, like the Splasher Pro. Honestly, like its kit, it just seems a lot more midline oriented. I feel like it's not as backline compared to its I guess its other kits, like the heavy deco or the heavy Splatling, the regular one, of course, with Stingray. So I can't honestly see a lot of play coming out from the remix. I feel like they're definitely going to be better Booyah Bomb options. So, you know, it kind of sucks that the heavy gets this. I mean, maybe somebody will get this out and play with it a little bit, and, you know, maybe you'll see some play, but I'm not too sure. I'm already not too sure, honestly. Now, we also have the Cherry H3 Nozzle that have Splashful and Bubbler. Now, if you guys didn't know, if you even played Splatoon in the very first game, you would have known that Cherry, back in that game, was literally the strongest weapon in the game with the combination of Splashful and Bubble Blower. Now, it's kind of funny that in this game, it gets Bubble Blower in this game just because, you know, to, I guess, carry that same bubble reference or whatever it's really called. But how I feel like this weapon might play, I mean, the weapon itself obviously is very solid in the right hands and, you know, correct accuracy, and having a wall at its disposal at the same time, honestly, I could see this weapon being played quite a bit. And the reason for that is because, you know, having a splash wall on this weapon just gives you a lot more time in order to really, like, take advantage on trying to hit your target, and gives you a little bit more time to, you know, to basically waste to make sure that you hit your target. So honestly, I really do like the addition of that this weapon has the Splash Wall and Bubble Blower, and of course Bubble Blower acting like 3 mobile walls. I mean, it's just going to be that kind of weapon that's going to be able to paint quite a bit, honestly, since it also has that too. I mean, the weapon itself paints so much, so I'm really interested to see how this type of weapon actually plays within this meta. I mean, hopefully the Cherry can actually blow up bubbles pretty fast. I mean, I feel like we're gonna, I mean, I'm not too sure how fast a Cherry actually, or an H3 Nozzle Nose actually blows up bubbles, so gonna be interesting to see how it works. And I'm pretty sure people are gonna run Object Shredder on this, and it's gonna be a pretty cool thing to see. So I can't wait to use this weapon. So the Tenta Camo Brella, that's gonna be pretty interesting to see. It has Ink Armor and Hammer. I mean, Hammer honestly may be pretty cool to have with this weapon too. I mean, ink mines, I mean, of course you can spread ink mines, whatever, but you know, I feel like the addition of Hammer can be really cool, because it could be a thing where you shoot off the shield and then you like follow her up with a hammer or something, so in a way you're kind of always protected from your front every time you use a hammer. So I think that addition with I guess the Tenta Brella having this is really cool. In terms of competitive play, like, interesting to, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Like, I don't know how well this might do. I mean, it's going to be one of the more aggressive Tenta Brella weapons that we're going to get, but, you know, who really knows, honestly. It's going to be a thing where we're going to have to experiment with it. And lastly, the 12th weapon, the Clear Dapple Dualies, has Torpedo and Splashdown for its special. Splashdown's a very interesting option. Torpedo's also a really interesting option. I feel like the Torpedo's going to be really helpful in trying to, I guess, approach your opponents from afar. So definitely it's going to be a thing that's going to help break the distance between the Dapples and its opponents. But in all honesty, like, I can't really see this weapon really being played too much in competitive. Like, maybe it could be something really decent for Clan Blitz especially. I mean, just cause like, it's gonna be able to counter pretty much a lot of I guess anything that has anything to do with bubbles and anything like that. So you can get in there pretty quickly and just annoy targets from afar. Using the Torpedo can be also always really helpful, and especially for a type of weapon like this, it can be really helpful too. So interesting to see how this weapon, you know, plays. I mean, I don't feel like it's gonna be played too much in competitive, but other than that, I feel like that is my conclusion with it. So Nogami also said some things that I don't really care about, like the Spring Splatfest. I mean, I don't really care about that. It's gonna be hair versus torsus. We're gonna get some new gear, as we always do. Now, to conclude, because I'm really honestly just all about the weapons and how they play and, you know, how it's gonna shape things and all that. To conclude with this, I guess, things to look out for with coming into this patch, honestly, of course, the Cherry H3 Nozzle Nose, the Grim Range Blaster, for sure. We're definitely gonna be seeing that. And the Permanent Ink Brush. Like, I feel like those are gonna be my top 3 weapons that we're going to have to look out for, because they could definitely make, I guess, a big, staple coming into this new, coming into this new update. So those are the weapons that we're going to have to look out for and just be careful of, because I definitely feel like, you know, those are going to be really, really strong coming into this meta, and, you know, how they may play is unknown to us right now, but, you know, once we do get them, I believe this update is actually coming pretty soon, like Tuesday, April 2nd, like, it's like couple days from now, me making this video. So, you know, this is definitely going to be something that's going to be really interesting for us to see. So, you know, I can't wait, honestly. I'm really excited to see how all of this plays. So, you know, with all that being said, honestly, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys were informed with my somewhat of knowledge of what I think of these weapons and all that. Please, if you haven't already, guys, please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, both in the description below. Do it for both if you're feeling generous. Make sure to hit the bell notification button in the description below. That is not quite in the description below because it's next to the subscription button. Of course, to let you guys, you know, let you know when I'm streaming and whenever I do upload a video and all that type of stuff. So, with all that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry that my voice is kind of sickly, because, you know, I mean, I've been putting in work from that last 24-hour stream I just did, so it's all good. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I shall see you guys in a future video.